What's up, guys? Welcome back to another live stream. I apologize that I haven't done one of these for a couple of weeks. I've been around out and about in Latin America, in Colombia, traveling to Panama, Cartagena, doing stuff in Medellin. But I'm back now for a little while, and so I will start these live streams again. In the future, I will be getting a slightly different camera to the one I'm using right now so that I can bring you guys along with me for my various travels across not the globe, but definitely the continent. And maybe in the future, I'll even do an impromptu live stream when I'm, on the top of a mountain with some good internet connection or something. But today's topic for the live stream is seven reasons why I am currently not following a training program, and I haven't done so for a while. I believe I haven't done a training program for maybe 4, 5, even 6 years. I've just been quote unquote freestyling my training, which may sound to some of you like I'm going against some of my principles, but I'm going to explain in today's live stream why it actually makes sense for some people, including myself, to not follow a rigid training program. And as always with my live streams, if you are watching, welcome. Second of all, put your questions in the chat below if you're watching this live, and I'll answer them at the moment I look at my screen and I'm not looking at the camera. Okay, so the first reason why I'm not following a training program is I'm not really chasing a goal. I don't really have a goal. I'm not trying to specifically kind of lose body fat. I'm not trying to build a lot of muscle. I'm not trying to improve a certain lift. I am at this kind of gray area stage of my training and physique development, if you could call it that, where I've been doing it for so long that apart from maybe certain points in the year where I want to kind of improve my condition a little bit or really kind of chase down a weight target on a certain exercise, my day-to-day doesn't really involve a goal. I'm going to go to the gym in about an hour's time after this live stream, and I'm not going to the gym to tear things up, to hit 140 kilogram bench press, to do this, to do that. I'm going to go into the gym. I'm going to do 6 exercises. I'm probably either going to do push or pull. It's going to be upper body. I'm going to do, 2 exercises for chest, 2 exercises for triceps, and 2 for shoulders. I'm going to do all the exercises with good technique, with control. I'm going to enjoy doing them. I'm going to be playing my music. I'm going to kind of jam out a little bit. I'm going to push myself. I'm going to train hard, but I'm not really specifically working to a specific goal because I've already achieved a lot of my goals. I have a athletic, lean, balanced, round physique most of the year round. And so I have really no desire to get super, super lean right now or try and really kind of build a lot of muscle mass, which, pardon me, I wouldn't be able to do anyway because I've been training so long, because you get diminishing returns, remember. So it's okay not to be working towards a specific goal all the time. Obviously, if you're just starting out and you're currently in bad shape, maybe you're already working with me, maybe you're not. If you want some more details, click on the right in the chat below and I'll get back to you with some details. So unless you fit that category and you're out of shape and you basically want to get in shape, it's okay not to work towards a specific goal, because you can't always be working towards a muscle building goal or a fat loss goal or a strength goal. It's okay just to be kind of going through the motions with the training a little bit. And for me right now, I have quite a fair bit of travel now and coming up in the future. And so I don't want to be really tied down to a training program. I want to kind of train as hard and as often as I can. I want to get in the gym. I want to stimulate my muscle. Then I want to leave. I don't want my training sessions to be like the focus point of my day, like the thing where everything else orbits around. I want my training to kind of slot in a spare kind of 60 or 90 minute position I have during the day and just go with it. Okay. So it's okay not to always be working towards a specific goal. But if you are just starting out your fitness journey and you're one of my clients, for example, then you need to be working towards a goal. But for me, because I've been doing it for so long and I've already ticked a lot of my goals off, I don't always need to be working towards a specific physique goal. So that's point number 1. I am not working towards a specific goal right now. The second one, whether you like it or not, following a training program definitely takes some fun out of your training. When you're following a set structure, you have to do your bench press, then you're doing a 45-degree incline dumbbell press, then you're doing a flat dumbbell tricep extension, then you're doing a cable fly, It gives you structure, yes. It gives you something to focus on, yes. If you're not really sure what you're doing, it is good to follow a program, but it's not that fun. long term, you want to be able to kind of freestyle it a little bit. When you've been doing this for so long, when you've been doing training for 15, 16 years, when you've already ticked a lot of your goals off, you want to go into the gym and be like, okay, cool. I have a repertoire of around 12 exercises I want to do. I only have time for 5 or 6. So let's just pick 5 or 6 and go with that. You don't need to necessarily be tied into a training program. And this can take the spontaneity out of your training, which reduces enjoyment. And you know what? Long term, training is a lot about enjoyment. If you completely kill your enjoyment of training long term, then there is a higher likelihood that you'll just fall out of love with training. If you never freestyle your training, if you are always following a training program, if you never just go with the flow and you're always doing what's in your notebook, if you never listen to your body and you're always just grinding out the hack squat and the back squats and the deadlifts, no matter how you feel, at some stage you're probably going to cave in and you're going to be like, you know what, actually, fuck this. I'm not really enjoying training at all. And long term, it's all about enjoyment and doing things properly, because that's actually what keeps your head in the game. Believe it or not, just kind of freestyling your training and not fixating onto a specific program, which kind of sounds a little bit counterintuitive, but that's true after you've been training for a certain period of time. In my case, 15 years. Because the longer term play with your training is to enjoy it, so that you're training when you're 55, that you're training when you're 65, that when you're 75 years old, even though that's quite difficult for some of us to comprehend, you still want to be going to the gym 3 to 4 to 5 times per week when you're in your 70s. Why not? At what stage of your life or your training career do you just say, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I've done my training for 25 years. I'm retired now. I've got my pension. I've got my £1,000,000 in my ISA. I don't have a job anymore. I'm just going to put my feet up and chill. Yeah, no, I'm done with the training. The moment you do that, you know, there's that statistic, isn't there, that a high percentage of people pass away after they retire, just because they lose their focus, they lose their desire to wake up early in the morning, they lose their productivity, they don't look after themselves, they stop eating well, they stop exercising. So at what stage, pardon me, each of my nose, at what stage in our lifespan do we just say, you know what, we're just done with that training thing now. I'm going to chill out and just relax a little bit. Woof, those 25 years of training were tough. I'm going to stop now. You know, you just lose all your gains. And obviously, when you get older, you want to keep your mobility. Otherwise, you can, probably end up in a care home. You want to keep training. And what's one of the tickets to be able to keep training well into your 70s? Enjoyment. If you enjoy your training, that's it. So, first one, I'm not working towards a goal. The second one, or point number 2, is that training takes away some of the enjoyment sticking to a program takes away some of the enjoyment of training. And the third one, I have been doing this long enough to know what works for me. Now, I just want to caveat that by saying, I'm not sat here saying to you, because I've been training for so long, I just know everything and I can just do whatever I like. That's not the case. But when you're starting out, you need that structure. You don't know about training, about programming, what exercises to do first, what type of exercises to do, how many reps to do, how many reps to keep in the tank during your sets. Do you push yourself super, super hard right at the start of the session, or do you give yourself some breathing space? All of these things are really important to learn. And when you learn them, i.e. after spending years and years and years in the trenches training, multiple times per week, you will develop an understanding as to what works best for your body. And so when you look at a cookie cutter training program on the internet, or even just a training program that you followed in the past, you might look at that and just go, you know what, that really wouldn't work for me. I wouldn't enjoy it. It would take too much time. The setup wouldn't work. It wouldn't work in the kind of gym environment I'm currently training in. And so after you have a good amount of experience in the trenches of training, you no longer need to follow a rigid structure. I'm sure that I'm kind of maybe butchering this a little bit, but I'm sure it's the same with other things as well. Take playing a musical instrument. When you first start playing, you need to follow the music, right? You have the music in front of you. It tells you which notes to play, at what time, at what intervals, what chords to play, all of it. But take Elton John. Does Elton John need to read music? If you met Elton John in his little house in Holland Park and said to him, "Oh, Elton, make up a song and play it to me," he'd just be able to like open up the piano and just go. Brrrr. He is that experienced and that good and that well rehearsed that he doesn't need to read music. It's all in here. It's so experienced. And it's a little bit like the same with when it comes to kind of training and improving your body composition. The top bodybuilders, the Ronnie Colemans, the Phil Heaths, the Jay Cutlers, the Lee Priests, the Chris Bumsteads, the Ryan Terrys, they probably don't need to be following a rigid program because they've been performing training at such a high level for so long that they don't know, it's all in their head. It's all in their head. It's almost like they're artists. Now, I'm not saying I am at the level of Ronnie Coleman. I'm not black for a start, but you see what I mean? Whilst you've been doing it for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, you don't need to follow the piece of paper which tells you to do a split squat followed by a leg curl. You just don't need to. It's like ingrained in your psyche. And that's like, that is the stage I'm at. It's probably not the stage that you're at right now, but it's definitely the stage I'm at, okay? The fourth one, it kind of goes along with what I'm just saying there, which is auto-regulation of your training is actually a widely recognized tool in the bodybuilding community, especially during off seasons where you have a surplus of calories and you're not in a big calorie deficit. Now, I use this example because when you're in a big calorie deficit and you're dieting, let's say you're a professional bodybuilder and you're getting really close to your competition, or you're just a normal person going for a photo shoot, or you're dieting for your wedding, the closer you get towards your kind of end deadline and the leaner you get, the more diet fatigue you have, the more tired you get, you start to kind of have these little mind games with yourself whereby you go to the gym, you're feeling tired, you're hungry, your joints don't feel good, you might feel sore from the day before. And it's very easy to just talk yourself out of what you should be doing. Like, oh, I'm meant to be doing legs today, but my knee's feeling a little bit dodgy. I'm just going to do upper body instead. Because when you're dieting and you're struggling, you will just let yourself off the hook. That's a human almost trait. So when you're dieting hard and you're really in like the grind zone, and basically you're struggling, it is really good to follow a program because it's like, look, you're removing your feelings from reality. If you don't have a training program, your feelings become your reality because you go to the gym, you're feeling tired, you're feeling drained, you haven't had any calories, you're super lean, your joints hurt. You have all the reasons right there just to like turn around from the gym and go back home. But if you actually have a program that you're committed to following and you need to be doing 3 sets of leg extensions, 3 sets of leg curls, 2 sets of cable curls, 2 sets of cable extensions, you're way more likely to follow that program in the gym and actually do the work that needs to be done rather than talk yourself out of it. Now, that's the dieting side of things. When you're in a surplus of calories and you're in a bulk phase, you're building up, you're kind of trying to get your strength up, you're trying to build muscle, you have way more flexibility with your nutrition, your overall lifestyle, and also you're feeling good, you're feeling strong, your joints have a lot of like cushioning around them, etc. You won't talk yourself out of kind of going to the gym most of the time because you're feeling good. You're not depleted. Your muscles are full of glycogen. You're feeling strong. You had a really great training session yesterday where you did really well. And so in that case, there's no specific need to really kind of like follow a training program because you're not going to back yourself out of it. Does that make sense? But when you are dieting, it's definitely important to have a training program. So for me right now, I'm kind of in this kind of maintenance / eating whatever I like within reason kind of type phase. And so I'm never really going to talk myself out of doing the hard-ish stuff in the gym. Now, going back to my first point, I'm not really working towards a specific goal at the moment. So I'm not going to the gym and doing like 10 sets of back squats, 10 sets of lunges, 10 sets of hack squat to try and kind of blow my legs up. That's not what I'm trying to achieve. But then again, I'm not going to kind of back out of doing the hard leg exercises completely because I'm eating plenty of calories. I'm good. I'm not dieting. I'm not fatigued or anything. So that auto-regulation is used quite extensively in the bodybuilding world, especially when people are dieting. But when you're bulking and building up, you don't need to follow a training program. But when you're dieting and you're really struggling and you are getting into the end phases of that diet, then yes, it might be a good idea to follow a training program. Fifth one, it may be something that I've experienced more as I'm getting older, but I actually really like listening to my body and almost seeing what it means. Seeing what it needs. I don't want to sound really kind of wokey and airy fairy, like, oh, I'm going to listen to my body. Okay, let's just do biceps today and not do any legs. It's not like that. Get those, those people just like, your body's going to tell you what to eat. Just listen to it. Like, how the fuck can your body tell you that you want to have a large Texas barbecue Domino's pizza with like 2 liters of Coke at 9 p.m. at night on a Friday? Like, it just doesn't work like that. You don't wake up and go like, right, I'm listening to my body. Oh, have a whole box of Cocoa Pops. Okay. Like it's insane that people like think like that. But anyway, to some extent, I do like at the moment going with the flow a little bit more with my training. If I've had terrible sleep and I'm like feeling a tiny bit under the weather, which I don't normally, I'll ease off a little bit. I'm not going to just do my normal like hack squat lunge leg workout. But then again, on the days where I am feeling good and I'm feeling more refreshed, I'm energized, I'm ready to go. Maybe I had a good night's sleep. Maybe I'm just had a more relaxed week work-wise, etc. Like not doing any YouTube videos like happened recently. Then I'll push myself a little bit more in the gym. I actually like the process now of listening to my body a little bit more. I'm not listening to my body 100% because then I'll just go to the gym and just do like calves and arms. But I'm listening to it a little bit. And if I was to follow a really rigid training program, not only would that kill the enjoyment of my training, which for me is really important, especially long term, but it probably wouldn't give me that flexibility to quote unquote listen to my body a bit more, which is something that I like doing at the moment. So yeah, I just like listening to my body a little bit more. But then again, if you are just starting out and let's say you haven't been training for the last 5 years, and let's say you're out of shape, you've just had kids, you've been kind of prioritizing other aspects of your life so far, which is all fine. When you start training, you're going to feel tired, bashed up, your joints are probably going to hurt a little bit, you're going to have a lot of muscle soreness. Should you then just like listen to your body and just completely stop training again? Well, obviously not, because that just puts you back into square one like you were doing before. But you know what I mean. Penultimate one. This is a little bit like an off one, but I put here in my notes that I kind of already do have a training program, but I don't. So I basically have, let's say, 2 to 4 movements for each muscle group, and I basically just rotate through them. Like, take quads, for example. My quad exercises are leg press, leg extension, and some sort of lunge. My hamstring exercises are like a lying leg curl, seated leg curl, incline back extension, and an RDL, dumbbell RDL. I don't like a barbell RDL. It takes way long to set up. And then my calf ones are a calf raise on the leg press, calf raise on the normal calf raise machine, and then also the seated calf raise. And then for biceps, for triceps, for chest, you see what I mean? And so like one leg session might look like leg extension, leg curl, seated calf raise. So let's just assume there's 3 exercises. But the next time I go into the gym, I might do hack squat, hip thrust, which is like for glutes, and standing calf raise, for example. So while I technically don't have a set, rigid, like I must do this on Tuesday, I must do this on Wednesday program, I kind of have a rough idea in my head as to what my exercises are, and I just rotate through them. It really helps having this kind of approach when you're training in a commercial gym, you're training in a busy gym, because I sometimes go to the gym and there's like nothing available. The only thing available, I want to do legs, let's say, the only thing available right now is a seated calf raise. I don't really like, I don't want to be wasting my time just waiting around for the hack squat. So I'm going to start on the calf raise. I might do 3 or 4 sets. When the gym's really busy, I like to do 4 sets because the likelihood is you won't be able to get on the equipment that you like. So instead of doing 3 sets of 6 exercises to get your, let's say, 18 sets in, you could just do like 5 sets of 3 exercises with another exercise for 3 sets at the end to make up your 18 sets, if that makes sense. So when the gym is busy, you can do more sets because you might not be able to get onto the equipment you like. And so I like doing that. I like kind of just having my go-to exercises and just rotating through them. And it means that some sessions are exactly the same as what I did last week, but there's sometimes they're completely different. And I think this strikes a balance well between potentially giving my muscles a new stimulus every week and also just doing exercises often enough so that I can just master them and just stay really good at them, because that's what important. That is what's important. It's not important just to learn new exercises every week. You want to rinse and repeat the ones you already know, which for some people would say is boring, but that's the name of the game. Right, last one. Okay, last one. I put here's another contradictory one. I said, just because I don't have a training program doesn't mean that you shouldn't. What I mean by that is most of you watching will not be personal trainers. Most of you watching will not have been training for 15 years. Most of you watching will probably be curious about training, maybe like on the start of your journey into getting in shape. And so just because I am saying I don't follow a training program and I've given you 7 reasons why, it doesn't mean that you need to just kind of tear up your training program and just freestyle it, because the chances are you will need to follow a program for a little bit more before you've quote unquote earned the right to go freestyle. I've spent enough time in the trenches doing exercises, body composition training, personal training clients as well, to be able to freestyle my training. Okay, I know I know the programming like the back of my hand, and I don't necessarily need to follow an app or something written down on paper in like right now in order for me to tick the training boxes that I need to. In the future, let's say I start competing in bodybuilding, I probably would start following some sort of more specific training program for that. But at the moment, for me in my life, I don't feel like it would really benefit me to follow a training program. But the chances are, for you watching this, you probably would still benefit massively from having that pre-set out structure that you can follow before you enter the gym, because it gives you clarity, it gives you focus. It means that you're not just aimlessly walking around the gym hoping that a machine's free or a piece of equipment is free, that you can use that. Because when you just kind of YOLO it like that and you try and just wing it, unless you are highly, highly experienced, the chances are you will just waste your precious hour in the gym. Because remember, my time is no more valuable than yours, but I know what I'm doing in the gym. If you are not 100% sure what you should be doing in the gym, like the back of your hand, you probably need a training program and it will benefit you massively, okay? So thank you very much for watching the live, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. The link below will have my daily email on and a link to work with me. So click those links if you're interested, and I'll see you in the next live stream, which I'm not sure what it's going to be on yet, but it's going to be another good one. It's going to be on Thursday or Wednesday this week. Okay, so guys, take care. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll speak soon. Take care.